Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is my fifth video of reading English texts for English and phonetics phonology subject. So I'm gonna start to continue my reading in this book. It's called Focus by Dylan Goldman, like usual, and we will continue on the third sub-chapter of the second chapter of this book. Attention top and bottom. I turned my attention to the study of some arithmetical questions, and apparently without much success, wrote the 19th century French mathematician Henri Poincaré. Disgusted with my failure, I went to spend a few days at the seaside, he said. There, as he walked on a bluff above the ocean one morning, the insight suddenly came to him that the arithmetical transformations of indeterminate ternary quadratic forms were identical with those of non-Euclidean geometry. The specifics of that proof do not matter here, fortunately, so I couldn't begin to understand the math myself. What's intriguing about this illumination is how it came to Poincaré. With brevity, suddenness, and immediate certainty, he was taken by surprise. The lure of creativity is rife with such accounts. Carl Gauss, an 18th and 19th century mathematician, worked on proving a theorem for 4 years with no solution. Then one day the answer came to him as a sudden flash of light. Yet he could not name the thread of thought that connected these years of hard work with that flash of insight. Why the puzzle, he said. Our brain has two semi-independent, largely separate mental systems. One has massive computing power and operates constantly, pouring away in quiet to solve our problems, surprising us with a sudden solution to complex pondering. Since it operates beyond the horizon of conscious awareness, we are blind to its workings. This system presents the fruit of its vast labors to us as though out of nowhere and in a multitude of forms, from guiding the syntax of a sentence to a constructing complex full-blown mathematical proofs. This back of the mind attention typically comes to the center of focus when the unexpected happens. You're talking on your cell phone while driving. The driving part is back of the mind, and suddenly a horn honk makes you realize the light has changed to green. Much of the system's neural wiring lies in the power part of our brain, its subcortical circuitry, though its efforts break into awareness by notifying our neocortex, the brain's topmost layers from below. Through their pondering, Poincaré and Gauss reaped breakthroughs from the brain's lower layers. Bottom up has become the phrase of choice in cognitive science for such workings of this lower brain neural machinery. Let me repeat that again. Bottom up has become the phrase of choice in cognitive science for such workings of this lower brain neural machinery. By the same token, top down refers to mental activity mainly within the neocortex that can monitor and impose its goals on the subcortical machinery. It's as though there were two minds at work. The bottom-up mind is the faster in brain time, which operates in milliseconds, involuntary and automatic, always on, intuitive, operating through networks of association, impulsive, driven by emotions, executor of our habitual routines and guide for our actions, manager for our mental models of the world. By contrast, the top-down mind is a little bit slower, voluntary, effortful, the seat of self-control, which can sometimes overpower automatic routines and mute emotionally driven impulses. Able to learn new models, make new plans, and take charge of our automatic repertoire to an extent. Voluntary attention, willpower, and intentional choice are top down. Reflexive attention, impulse, and rote habit are bottom up, as is the attention captured by a stylish outfit or a nifty ad. When we choose to tune in to the beauty of a sunset, concentrate on what we are reading, or have a deep talk with someone, it is a top down shift. Our mind's eye plays out a continual dance between stimulus driven attention, capture, and voluntarily directed focus. The bottom-up system multitask, scanning a profusion of inputs in parallel, including features of our surroundings that have not yet come into full focus. It analyzes what's in our perceptual field before letting us know what it selects as relevant for us. Our top down mind takes more time to deliberate on what it gets presented with, taking things one at a time and applying more thoughtful analysis. Through what amounts to an optical illusion of the mind, we take what's within our awareness to equal the whole of the mind's operations. But in fact, the vast majority of mental operations occur in the mind's backstage amid the poor of bottom up systems. Much, some say all, of what the top down mind believes it has chosen us to focus on, think about, and do is actually plans dictated bottom up. If this were a movie, psychologist Daniel Kahneman really notes the top down mind would be a supporting character who believes herself to be the hero. Dating back millions of years in evolution, the reflexive, quick acting bottom up circuitry favors short term thinking, impulse, and speedy decisions. The top-down circuits at the front and top of the brain are a later addition, their full maturation dating back mere hundreds of thousands of years. Top-down writing adds talents like self-awareness and reflection, deliberation, and planning to our mind's repertoire. Intentional top-down focus offers the mind a lever to manage our brain as we shift our attention from one task, plan, sensation, or the like to another. The related brain circuitry lights up. Bring to mind a happy memory of dancing, and the neurons for joy and movement spring to life. Recall the funeral of a loved one, and the circuitry for sadness activates. Mentally rehearse a golf stroke and the actions and dendrites that orchestrate those moves wire together a bit more strongly. The human brain counts among evolution's good enough but not perfect designs. The brain's more ancient bottom-up system apparently worked well for basic survival during most of a human prehistory, but their design makes for some troubles today. In much of life, the older systems holds away, usually to our advantage, but sometimes to our detriment. Overspending, addictions, and recklessly speeding drivers all count as signs of this system out of whack. The survival demands of early evolution packed our brains with preset bottom-up programs of procreation and child rearing, for what's pleasurable and what's disgusting, for running from a threat or toward food and the like. Fast forward to today's very different world. We so often need to navigate life top-down despite the constant undertow of bottom-up whims and drives. A surprising factor constantly tips the balance toward bottom up. The brain economizes on energy. Cognitive efforts like learning to use your latest tech upgrade demand active attention at an energy cost. But the more we run through a once novel routine, the more it moves into rote habit and gets taken over by bottom up circuitry, particularly neural networks in the basal ganglia, a golf ball sized mass nestled at the brain's bottom, just above the spinal cord. The more we practice a routine, the more the basal ganglia take it over from other parts of the brain. The bottom top systems distribute mental tasks between them so we can make minimal effort and get optimal results. As familiarity makes a routine easier, it gets passed off from the top to the bottom. The way we experience this neural transfer is that we need pay less attention and finally none, as it becomes automatic. The peak of automaticity can be seen when expertise pays off in effortless attention to high demand, whether a master-level chess match, a NASCAR race, or rendering an oil painting. If we haven't practiced enough, all of these will take deliberate focus. But if we have mastered the requisite skills to a level that meets the demand, they will take no extra cognitive effort, freeing freeing our attention for the extras, seen only among those at top levels. As world-class champions obsessed at the topmost levels, where your opponents have practiced about as many thousands of hours as you have, any competition becomes a mental game. Your mind state determines how well you can focus and so how well you can do. The more you can relax and trust in bottom-up moves, the more you free your mind to be nimble. Take, for example, star football quarterbacks who have what sports analysts call great ability to see the field. They can read the other team's defensive formations to sense the opponent's intentions to move. And once the play starts, instantly adjust to those movements, gaining a priceless second or two to pick out an open receiver for a pass. Such seeing requires enormous practice, so that what a let me repeat that again. Such seeing requires enormous practice, so that what a such seeing requires enormous practice, so that what at first requires much attention, dodge that rusher, occurs an automatic. From a mental computation perspective, spotting a receiver while under the pressure of several 250-pound bodies hurtling toward you from various angles is no small feat. The quarterback has to keep in mind the pass routes of several potential receivers. At the same time, he processes and responds to the moves of all 11 opposing players. A challenge best managed by well-practiced bottom-up circuit, and one that would be overwhelming if he had to consciously think through each move. And I think this is the end of the 5th video, and I've read the second subchapter of the second chapter of this book, and I will continue maybe 2 days from today or maybe tomorrow, because I'm gonna rest, and I'm gonna taking a lot of time to rest because a lot of things happened in my life, and I think I gotta rest for a while. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.